Hi everyone, Rafi Jimgochin from Triado Networks here, talking about cybersecurity budgeting. A very exciting topic, but it's kind of important to understand how much you should be spending and spending too much. But there's no hard and fast rule when it comes to budgeting. But we're going to try to give a little bit of guidance for folks that have never done something like this. So budgets will vary depending on the size of the company, what industry you're in, your regulatory needs, and what the impact of things like downtime, your business processes, and third-party risk are to your company. On average, companies spend about 3 to 4% of their revenue on IT, according to Deloitte. Different sectors have different ranges as well. Commercial construction, 1 to 2%, whereas banking and investments spend the most at 7 to 8% of annual revenue. Small businesses are on the larger scale. Those that are less than $5 million spend about 7%. So the smaller you are, you tend to spend a little bit more on your technology. Cybersecurity should be roughly 10 to 20% of that budget. At the top of that scale, if you're a $5 million private equity business, approximately $350,000 should be about 7%, which is 20% should be about $70,000 or a little under 6K a month. So somewhere between 3 to 6K is about right for spending on cybersecurity on a monthly basis. So if you think about kind of what you should invest in, for example, I bought this ticket in Las Vegas for the Steelers to win the Super Bowl this year. So at the time, it cost me $20, so I've spent $20. It had the potential value of $1,200. One would say maybe it never had that value, but I was believing. But only as of a few weeks ago, it became a $0 value when the Steelers were eliminated from the NFL playoffs. So what happens in this case? Well, during the course of time, it was important to protect this asset, but that time passed. And so is necessary to protect this asset. So understanding your data life cycles and where things are, you don't want to spend $2,000 to protect something that's only worth $1,000. Anyway, so when you review periodically against the risks and threats that you are protecting against, a good place to start is your cybersecurity insurance questionnaire, or if you have specific regulatory requirements, you'd probably want a blending of the two. Have a professional run a risk assessment against that list and see where you are, see where your gaps are, and put together a plan. Next, I would look at risks that are typical in your kind of business, whether that's financial fraud due to business email compromise. Look back at our last two videos that we talked about that, whether it's ransomware, intellectual property theft, or any number of other things. Finally, I would adopt a framework, one that makes sense and aligns with your industry. If you're not sure about frameworks, I actually wrote a couple of years ago, I wrote a chapter about it, frameworks, in this book that was on Amazon. If you're interested in a copy, be happy to send you a copy. Drop a note, send me a DM, and I'd be happy to send one out to you. Once you adopt that framework, it doesn't really matter which one. It doesn't matter which one really, as long as it makes sense for you. You continue to measure yourself against that and understand what you need to make changes along the way. So, and then as we rinse and repeat, you get better, your company matures, your posture matures, and it also allows you to protect the budget that you have. So you don't unnecessarily spend against something that perhaps costs not a lot of money or is potentially quote unquote free. If you look back at our videos that we talked about business email compromise, there were certain areas that you didn't need to spend a lot of money. It was just a matter of understanding what the risks are and changing some processes. And by doing that, it may be delayed a little bit when you send out invoices by, I don't know, a couple minutes, but ultimately it massively improves your security posture. So I hope that gives you an idea about thinking about budgets from a holistic point of view, about how much you should be allocating to your cybersecurity needs, and then a path forward as to where you go. We're going to be talking a little bit about more of these things along the way, but I wanted to give a good baseline where we start. If you need any help with any of these steps along the way, please feel free to reach out to us, drop a note, send me an email, Rafi@triatonet.com, or hit me up on any of the social media platforms you see us. Take care and be safe.